What's up, good people? My name's AJ. We are working on the weekend like usual, and you're watching Straight Talks. If you're enjoying any of the other videos, please subscribe to the channel, like this video. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel out. I'm having fun with this YouTube channel talking about these topics. This specific question came from a viewer, and I think those are really cool too, because I like talking about things that are relevant to all of you. So feel free to leave a comment down below on this video if there are any topics that you want to hear me talk about or any questions you have. I might just give you a quick answer back, but if it's something that I think warrants a little more commentary, then I'll do one on that. Let's get into it. Here I'm talking about the reality of the CFA exam or CFA charter once you've passed the exams. Is it a golden ticket? Is it totally worthless? The reality is it's probably somewhere in between. So here are my thoughts on it. The way that this question was posed to me was, hey AJ, is this CFA charter a golden ticket in finance? The short answer is no, it's not, unfortunately, but I think it is probably the single best resume edition. Now I'll get into that a little bit, but in terms of a few letters that you could slap on a resume that say, hey, I'm really dedicated and I work really hard, there's probably nothing, in my opinion, in the world that says it better than that. And especially if you're getting recruited by or interviewing with, or you know that other CFA charter holders are making some of the hiring decisions surrounding your and other people have talked about this too, but no one really knows what you go through with the CFA program other than other CFA charter holders. And I would probably add to that people who have gone through medical school, maybe law school. I don't know, I worked at a law school in college. I don't think law school is hard, but the point is, it is the best, I think, resume edition, especially when another CFA charter holder is looking at that resume. But also relative to other things, that the CFA designation has gained a solid amount of traction. So depending on what section of finance you're applying to, I think it is probably the single best edition. The caveat to that is that it's not the most important edition for every position. It's just the most broad one, the one thing that could be best applied to many different positions. But if you want to work in valuation of distressed fixed income issuances, just having the CFA charter isn't your golden ticket. The real golden ticket, at least in my mind, for a role like that would be really good experience, already doing work like that. And then also the ability to sell yourself or present yourself as someone who is extremely dedicated in that subsection of finance and is extremely interested in doing that type of work in the interview. But as far as the resume goes, I'd say when you're talking about a really specific niche, it's more important to have relevant experience to that, and then the CFA charter would be kind of number two. But again, broadly across the board, say you wanted to apply to a job in economics, fixed income, equity, portfolio management, go through the chapters of the CFA exam. The one single thing across all applicants that could be most helpful would be the CFA charter. If you already like the field that you're working in terms of pay raises, there of course is some truth to getting pay raises once you're CFA charter holder. And if you don't get any sort of a pay raise from the point when you are a level 1 candidate until you are CFA charter holder, you should probably think about switching jobs anyway. But I'll just share my reality. I got a raise after passing level 2, and then after level 3 I got a pretty good raise too. That was mostly related to other factors though. I guess I still want to mention it because it was shortly around the time after I passed the 3rd exam. And I know that it will work differently for about everyone, but there are pretty good compensation studies you can find out there. Usually your local CFA society will have a compensation study, and if not, there might be a statewide one that shows compensation, sometimes by level, but usually compensation for people who are not CFA charter holders than people who are CFA charter holders, divided up by years of experience in the industry. So if you're a charter holder but you've been in the industry for 5 years, your pay is going to look different than if you're a charter holder and you've been working for 20 years. So you should get a bit of a rise. You're more qualified. You are a better employee at that point, I think. Maybe you can't say that. I don't know. I hope I'm not making an ethics violation there. But look, your salary's not going to double, and I don't think the CFA charter is the most important factor in getting a raise. I would say those things are being really good at your job and being a good person, but having the CFA charter can't hurt those things either. So again, it's not a golden ticket here, but it can help. And then from the perspective of just having more knowledge to do your own job effectively, I do think the CFA program is the gold standard in the investment industry when it comes to building a foundation on the basics and also more advanced topics to make the best objective decisions and create the best work that you could relative to your own field. Again, is it the golden ticket to building knowledge? No, it's not. If you're working in any specific subsector, which I think most people do, most people are not kind of these broad go-all, do-all economists to statisticians, bond analysts, all that type of stuff. But let's say you're working in like reporting at a bank or something, and you get the CFA charter. While all of the content isn't going to be relevant to your job or help you out in your job, there will be a lot of information in the exam that is either getting reinforced through participating in that exam and hopefully passing the exams, or could be the first time you've been introduced to it. It's a great background of knowledge to have. And the last point I'll make here, last but not least, certainly is it the golden ticket from an ethical perspective? Does having the CFA charter make you much more ethical? Unfortunately, again, the answer is no, but I almost want to say yes, because once you've been through at least 2 levels of the CFA exam, the way that the curriculum pounds ethical concepts into your brain and the way that the actual exams continue to pound those ethical concepts into your brain definitely shifts the way you think. Of course, I haven't done a ton of other academic programs out there, but other than maybe an in-depth biblical study into your own soul or self-righteousness or whatever, I can't think of how another program would potentially create as much of an ethical requirement in your own mind in how you carry yourself in your own job while you're conducting business. So it's really close to being the golden ticket in terms of having a higher moral ground or higher ethical standards. It's not. You can be CFA charter holder and still do immoral or unethical things, unfortunately. But it's probably pretty close, because I know in my own job there are just a lot of instances that I would consider totally fine and are not against any compliance policies internally. And then I think about the CFA charter and complete disclosure of any potential conflicts of interest, or the a potential appearance of conflicts of interest, or portfolio performance measurement and the details you have to go in there. And I'll stop and tell myself, man, I signed that candidate pledge, which I take seriously, and so I'm probably going to have to take the extra steps, spend the extra 30 minutes here to make sure that I'm meeting every potential ethical requirement out there. So I would almost say for the candidates or charter holders who are taking it seriously as they should, it kind of is the golden ticket towards ethical requirements, because it's really the highest ethical standard. And then again, if you're taking it seriously, like I just mentioned, that means you are operating under the highest ethical standard, at least from what I see out there in the industry or other industries as well. So you kind of have the golden ticket to ethics there. So maybe in that regard, yes, but again, that doesn't apply to everyone, unfortunately. So just in more ways than one, it's not the golden ticket to finance, but it is helpful in almost every one of those ways. Let me know down in the comments below if you disagree or agree with any of these points. And like I mentioned earlier, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, it helps me out. Thanks for watching.